All right, we're going to start our lesson today and talk about how to solve systems using elimination. It's one of the easiest methods to solve systems, so I hope you like it and find it as simple as I do. So, all right, we're just going to start with one problem, and here it is. We have 4x plus 6y is equal to 32, and 3x minus 6y is equal to 3. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to add the terms together, the x's and the y's and the constants, and then solve the system. So we get 7x. These terms cancel out, which is what we want, and it's equal to 35. Divide by 7. And we get x is 5. Okay? So all we did was just add these together and found that x is 5. And so we just sub it in into one of the equations here. We're just going to use the top one. So I get 4 times 5 plus 6y is equal to 32. So 20 plus 6y equals 32. 6y is 12. Divide by 6, and y is 2. Okay? So this step, I just subbed in the 5 for x, did my algebra, came up with 2, and the ordered pair is 5, 2. Okay? To check yourself, you just plug it into both of them and see if it works. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll show you that. So 5, 2, so this is the check. 5, 2. And we're going to sub it in to the first equation. So it'll be 4 times 5 plus 6 times 2 is 32. We're going to sub it in to the second equation. 3 times 5 minus 6 times 2 equals 3. So we get 15 minus 12 is 3. 3 equals 3. And then we get 20 plus 12 is 32. 32 equals 32. They're both true, and so 5, 2 is the solution. Now, you don't have to check yourself every single time, but I'm just showing you in one example how to see if your answers are right. It doesn't hurt to check it on a few problems in your assignment, so if you want to do that to see if you're doing it right, I suggest you do. Okay, let's try a different one. Okay, so this is our second example. And let's go ahead and look at this one, negative 4x plus 3y is a negative 3. And then I have 4x minus 5y, and that's going to be equal to 5. Okay, so I notice, oh, these are opposite terms, which is what I want. And so I'm just going to go ahead and add, these will cancel. 3 minus 5 is a negative 2y, and that's equal to 2, and so we're just going to divide. And so y equals a negative 1. So again, all we did was just add our x's, they canceled, combined the y terms and got a negative 2, divided, and now we have y. So then we just choose either one. I'm going to sub it into the second one to find y. So I get 4x minus 5 times negative 1 is 5. So I just put it in where the y value was. So 4x plus 5 is 5. 4x is equal to 0, and x is 0. So the ordered pair is 0, -1 to that problem. Okay, let's go on to something different here. Okay, so the name of the game when we're working with elimination or linear combination, which we'll learn in the next lesson, is to make sure you have opposite terms. So let's say we get something like this. Let's say that you have 2x plus 5y is equal to 6, and 2x plus 9y is equal to 22. Okay, so what do you notice here? Are there any opposite terms or terms you could potentially multiply a -1 through to get an opposite term? Well, yeah, of course, the 2's here. So I'm just going to multiply this by -1. So I recopy the first equation. And I'm just going to string a negative through here. So I get -2x minus 9y equal to a -22. So now you have opposite terms, and you can easily add now and get the answer. 5 minus 9 is a -4y. And then 6 minus 22 would be a -16. Divide by -4. And so y is 4 here. Okay, and then again, you're just going to sub it back in to find the answer. You can choose the first one or the second one. I'm going to use the first one here. So we have 2x plus 5 times 4 is equal to 6. 2x plus 20 equals 6. 2x is a -14. X is a -7. So the ordered pair is -7 and 4. So the only difference between this problem and the ones we did earlier is that you have to make one of the equations opposite so you can add and then get rid of one of your variables, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and try another one, and then we'll move on to the application problems, okay? Our second example here, we have 8x plus 3y equals 11. And then we have 8x plus 7y, and that's equal to 7. All right, anything there that you notice? Well, the 8x's, they're the same term. One of them needs to become opposite, so I'm just going to string a -1 through all those terms, okay? So we get 8x plus 3y is 11. All I did was just recopy the first equation. I'm going to take a negative through. 8x, -8x minus 7y is a -7. So we get -4y equals 4. Y equals a -1. Okay? So I just noticed that the 8's were the same. I took a -1 through, rewrote the first one. There's my new second equation, added and solved for y. Okay? And then I'm going to put it in the first or the second. Let's just put it in the top equation to find x. So we have 8x plus 3 times a -1 is 11. Okay, and we're just going to go ahead and solve that. So 8x minus 3 is 11. 8x equals 14. Divide divide by 8, and we're just going to simplify the fraction. We're going to get 7/4. And you can either leave it like that or write it as a mixed number. So that'll be x equals 1 3/4. So we're going to just write it as 1 3/4 and -1. So sometimes you are going to get fractions, maybe decimals, it just depends. So make sure that you're not alarmed, and it's okay. It's okay to get some of those answers, all right? So we'll move on to the application problem now. And there's 2 of them. So the first one is on page 355. So let's look at that one. And we're going to look at the example in the book and also the guided practice on that page. So, okay, so it says -3 times one number plus 5 times another number is -11. 3 times the first number plus 7 times the other number is -1. Find the numbers. So let's just take the first one. First, let's define our variables. X equals first number, and y is going to equal the second number. So the first thing is always to define your variables and figure out what you're looking for and then go from there. So, okay, so let's read the first sentence again. -3 times one number plus 5 times another number is -11. So we have -3, and we're going to just take it times the first number. And then it says plus 5 times the other number, so it's plus 5y, is, and that's going to be -11. Okay, so there's our first equation. So let's read the second one. 3 times the first number, so that's going to be 3x, plus 7 times the other number is a -1. Okay, so we have them set up, and now we're going to try to solve the problem. Okay, so we're just going to add, and you get 12y equals -12. Y equals -1. Okay, so -1 is going to be your second number. And we're just going to sub it in. I'm going to put it into the second equation because that looks a little bit easier. So I have 3x plus 7 times -1 is -1. So I just subbed it into the second equation. 3x minus 7 is -1. 3x equals 6. X is 2. Okay. So the first number is 2. -1 will be your answers there. So, okay. Let's move on to the second example. That's on page 356. Okay, so we're on page 356. Okay, we're at the bottom of the page there. So it says, Cheryl and Jackie work at an ice cream shop. Cheryl earns $9.25 per hour and Jackie earns $8.75 per hour. During a typical week, Cheryl and Jackie earn $334.75 together. One week, Jackie doubles her work hours and the girls earn $466. How many hours does each girl work during a typical week? Okay, so we got 2 people here, so we're going to have C and J. Okay, so let's see what we need them to be equal to. The hours that they work during a week. So C equals number of hours for Cheryl. And J is going to equal the number of hours for Jackie. Okay, so let's see what the first sentence says. Jackie earns $8.75 and Cheryl earns $9.25. Okay, together they earned $334.75. So this is how you write it. Okay, Cheryl works and she earns $9.25, so it's going to be 9.25 times however many hours plus, okay, so what's Jackie's salary? So she gets $8.75, so it's going to be 8.75 J equals how much money? So that's going to be equal to $334.75. So we just came up with what I call a money equation, how much they earn per hour. Next, we got to take into consideration the next sentence. 1 week, just 1 week, Jackie doubles her work hours. So we're not going to have a J here anymore. We're going to have 2J because she doubled her time. And the girls earn $466. So this will be $466. Okay, and so Cheryl is still getting $9.25 an hour. It's still 8.75, but we're going to take it times 2J because she doubled her work hours. Okay, so we got a little bit of figuring to do here. I'm going to just go ahead, and I noticed that these are the same here, so I'm going to just take a negative through this second equation. The top one stays the same. Okay, I'm just going to string that negative through, so I have a negative 925C minus 8.75 times 2J equals a negative 466. Okay, so now I'm just going to add going down. Okay, so if I add, this is gone. So this is times 1, so to speak, and this is times 2. So if we add 1 plus 2, 1 minus 2, it's going to be a negative 875 J. It's just like adding 1x minus 2x. You're going to get a negative x, and that's what's happening here. And then we're going to add our money values here, and we should get a negative $131.25. And then we would divide, and so Jackie's hours turn out to be 15. So Jackie worked for 15 hours that week. Okay, well, let's figure out how much Cheryl worked. So I'm going to sub it into the top equation because it's a little easier. So I'm going to get 9.25C plus, and then when I sub this 15 in, I'm going to get $131.25. Okay, I'm running out of room, so I'm just going to go on to another page. So all I'm doing is just subbing in the 15. Okay, let's continue here. So we get 9.25C plus 8.75 times 15. And that's going to equal $334.75. So we get 9.25C. We're going to use our calculators, and we come up with $131.25 equals 334 0.75, we're going to subtract 9.25C, and that'll be equal to $203.50. And when we divide, it comes up to be 22. And then you just write a sentence at the end explaining your answer. So you're just going to say, Cheryl worked 22 hours. Jackie worked 15 hours. Okay, we're done with the lesson, so please let me know through school email or through the YouTube channel if you have any questions. I'm happy to help you, and I look forward to teaching you the next lesson. Bye.